Welcome to Vision Health and Wealth Videos. We're here to present to you 7 best foods that help to lower the risks of having stroke. The first one among these foods, surprisingly, is the onion that we all know. Onion contains a powerful antioxidant known as dietary flavonol. Dietary flavonol, which is very much able to lower the risks of having cancer. When you have a meal that contains a lot of onions, you don't know how much risks you have saved yourself. The next item, or the next food that is on the list is red wine. Red wine contains, what is known as resveratrol, resveratrol, capable of lowering the risk of having stroke. This very resveratrol is an antioxidant, very powerful and able to lower the risk of having, stroke. You can choose to have some red grapes. You take red grapes, fresh and natural, or you may go for just a glass of wine. All these are good for your health. The next food item to be talked about here is the oatmeal, which is whole grains meal. Uh, well, in fact, whole grains meal like oatmeal became very prominent uh, sometimes ago when some health institutions discovered that it is capable of lowering the risks of having cancer, and therefore when you take when you have oatmeal regularly, then you are doing yourself a lot of good and able to reduce drastically the risk of having stroke. The next food item here is salmon, a brand of fish that is very powerful, which contains vitamin D. This vitamin D is able to do a lot of good work in the brain. Is able to perform, neuro muscular neuro-protective functions, and able to make the brain to perform maximally, so that uh, uh, you will be free. You will not bother yourself. Rather, you'll be sure that you are protected. At least you have a considerable level of reduction of risk of having, stroke, which is very important to our well-being. Next on the food item is what we all know as dry beans. Dry bean is well known to everyone. It belongs to the family of food known as legumes. Uh, it contains, what we call prebiotics, that is mostly indigestible fiber that helps to produce good bacteria that fights the bad bacteria in the digestive system. And when you have a healthy digestive system, the function of the brain is enhanced. We all know that one of the major cause of stroke is the interruption in the flow of blood through the brain. That is uh, when the activities of the brain is interrupted. That's when you have stroke. So these dry beans help helps a lot to produce good bacteria that helps the function of the digestive system, and thus helps the function of the brain and lowers the risk of having stroke. And the next food item here to be considered is yogurt. It is also able, to produce uh, good bacteria. That is what we call probiotics, which produces good bacteria that helps to fight the bad bacteria in the body, especially in the digestive system. Uh, Many people don't realize that when that is that there is a very prominent connection between the digestive system and the function of the brain. And therefore, when you have yogurt regularly, you help to enhance the activities of the brain, and thus, uh, when the activities of the brain, that the flow of the blood through the brain, is not interrupted, then you stand the chance of lowering the risk of having stroke considerably. The last food item to be considered here is what we know as flax seed. This type of food item contains a lot of omega-3, which helps the brain to function maximally. It produces fatty acids, and we all know that the brain is made of more than 50% of fat. That is, most part of the brain uh, is fat, and therefore food item that is able to produce fatty acids will surely enhance the functions of the brain, and thereby reducing the risk of having stroke. Now, all these food items listed earlier, and these are all very important for your health, and it is good for you to do the best you can to avoid the risk of having stroke. Thank you for watching. We cherish your likes, subscription, and comments that will help us to produce better later on. Thank you.